My friend, it has been, I think it's been about 2 years. I think 2 or 3 years since the last time you and I spoke. But
It's been a
man, you
minute.
look great. And but even more importantly, before we were talking on camera, I love your Christmas setup. It looks so good.
Man, I got to tell you, we love Christmas, and Jen had said to me I was going to be leaving for a month. I don't get back till Christmas Eve. So she was like, hey, let's get everything out. Let's get everything set up so you can enjoy a wee bit of Christmas at the house before you leave. So that's what you see behind me. So
I love that. I was trying to figure out, I think we've known each other for what? At least 20 years? I could be wrong. Am I right
a,
about that?
a long time, really. It's overnight successes, I guess. Yeah.
How do you think um not just your career and how it has progressed from the first time we met, but how do you think the progression has been on how you see the business on your side?
Well, I would love to tell you there's a lot's changed. The business has changed,
Yeah.
obviously, you know that. But the way I look at things hasn't changed much, really. My focus has always been purely, really specifically based on my audience.
Mhm.
So I never ever took my eyes off of my audience. And once once I was fortunate enough, blessed enough to have found an audience, a group of people that enjoyed what I was wanting to say and how I was wanting to say it. I really just wanted to focus on that. So a lot of things change. Record labels change, agents change, management changes, production changes. Everything changes. The business changes. The rooms change. Like small rooms to bigger rooms to arenas to all that changes. But the one thing that has never changed is really just my relationship with my audience, and that focus. So I've tried my very best to sort of just be a voice to a lot of people out there, just like myself.
But the other thing too is, and I'm not trying to say everybody is perfect in this world. Sometimes people don't have the best things to say. I have never heard anybody ever say a bad word about you. You are truly,
Uh,
it's not just one of the nicest guys in this business, but I mean just one of the nicest guys on this planet. How do
uh,
you always, no matter what in adversity, you always stay so positive?
but I just try and treat people the way I want to be treated. I mean, I know that's a tiny bit of a cliche, but um, I just feel the business doesn't need to be what the business is sometimes. I feel like a lot of people have opinions of the music business, entertainment business, cutthroat, and there's all these people and blah blah blah. And yes, there is a lot of that within the business, but I've just never felt that there needs to be. I've always felt there's room for everybody, and we should be celebrating each other. We should be lifting each other up. So kind of always try to approach it in that manner, and I think I've always had a great understanding of what this is.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you a long time ago, but speaking about making it, like what does that mean? I made it. I made it. What does that mean? To a younger version of me, that might have meant planes, buses, billboards, all that kind of stuff. Um, but as time progresses, you really start understanding what success is. And success is, at least for me, success is longevity. Success is good health. Success is a happy family and having people around you that respect you and love you. So I don't need to be singing songs to have success.
Everything that you just said represents what we're going to talk about. And it has to do with the holidays, Fallsview Casino. My brother, you are back with one of the greatest shows that anybody could have over the holidays. Talk a little bit about this, please, because you've been doing this for several years now, man, and it really has become a staple point here in Canada.
Well, listen, I've always enjoyed Christmas. I've had great success at Christmas with music. Releasing music and the way I enjoy celebrating Christmas. It started, I guess, a few years back. That I was asked, "Hey, would you do a Christmas tour?" Which I did, and it was wonderful. And then I took a couple of years off, and somebody said, "Hey, man, that Christmas tour, would you come back and do a Christmas tour?" I thought to myself, "Okay, I'll come back and do a few Christmas shows." Then last year, post COVID, I was asked by, I believe it was Moncton and maybe Fallsview. It was supposed to be two shows. Would you come back and do a Christmas show? And I thought, well, you know something? Yes, I will. Let's do it. So kind of got the band back together, get everybody back together, and we went. We did Moncton, two big sold out shows in Moncton, and a big sold out show at Fallsview, and it was electrifying. It actually ended up. I ended up getting added a few more shows to that because of the energy and the excitement. So this past year, I was actually going to be taking this Christmas off. Really, to be honest with you, this Christmas was supposed to be. I was going to take Christmas off, like the winter off, to be here. But then we got a call for Fallsview again. We got a call for Moncton. And then I thought, I spoke to Tracy, I spoke to the label, I spoke to everybody. I said, look, if we're going to get the band back together and we're going to do this Christmas thing, like, let's go do it. Let's go do it. So that led to two symphony shows with the Edmonton Symphony. It led to Lloydminster and Lethbridge and Regina and Winnipeg and Thunder Bay, Moncton, Fallsview, Belleville. I think is on there as well. Anyways, we added a bunch of shows because I was like, if I'm going to go away for this amount of time, we might as well go out and spread the cheer. So I'm excited about it, and I think it is becoming somewhat of a tradition, and that's what Christmas is about for so many. So if I can be part of people's tradition, then so be it.
Now, what's the show going to be like? What are we going to experience on this?
I'm bringing the big band, so I'm going to have. I think there's going to be 11 musicians on stage. It's going to be full of some of my favorite festive songs. There's going to be several big, I guess, faith-based songs. More traditional type Christmas music from my past, and then there's going to be several, original Christmas songs that I've written through the years. So it's just going to be a night of Christmas. It's, I'll save the Johnny Reid stuff for a later time. But this is going to be a night to celebrate family, tradition, friendship. This is just going to be a time for us to all get together and celebrate what I feel is the best time of the year.
You kind of mentioned something, and there are two things I always love speaking to, incredible artists like yourselves. Number one, what is it like for you to write a Christmas song, knowing that there are so many great traditional songs, and you hope that one of your songs or all your babies could become traditional too, meaning, of course, that whatever you write, that song is going to be played Christmas Eve or Christmas Day when the family is opening up gifts or having dinner together. And two, what is it also like when you do re-sing a traditional song that we are so used to certain artists like Nat King Cole or Bing Crosby have sang forever, and we know this, and you make it your own to make sure that there's respect to the song as well?
Well, the first part of the question is it's always a tall order. Christmas songs are very interesting because a lot of people feel like Christmas music is, just Christmas music, simple music. It's actually very complex music, and the melodies of Christmas music are some of the toughest to sing. So when you're sitting down, writing a Christmas song, I mean, the best you can do whenever you're writing a song is to be honest as you can be. So any Christmas songs that I've written, whether it be, Winter Star, whether it be, songs like Christmas, whether it be, I've written a lot of original Christmas music. It's always a tall order, and you got to have to, keep that in mind, and really take the time that's needed to make sure that you're refining the music appropriately, so that it potentially could become a standard, that it could become something that's part of somebody's life, which I've had in other songs I've written that were non-Christmas music. A lot of my songs have become a huge part of people's life, whether it be weddings or anniversaries or birthdays or remembrance, so it's a big responsibility that I don't take lightly. And then the second part of your question is you have to try and make it your own. You have to try and make it your own. However, you always got to remember that, these melodies are so infectious for a reason. So you can make it your own musically, you can make it your own thematically, Uh, but I've never been a fan of people changing melodies. It's like, hey man, this is this is White Christmas. This is this is Let It Snow. This is, like, you can change everything, but let's maintain the melody and let's maintain the message.
I'm curious. A couple of things. Is there a Christmas song that you think, because it is so iconic for a certain artist, that other people just shouldn't sing it?
That's a great question. I think in outside of Christmas, I think there is. I think,
Hmm.
there's a ton of songs, like, there's just so many artists that are stylistic, like stylists, that I'm like, man, like Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash, it's
Yeah.
like leave it alone. You know what I mean? So, there are songs out there that I think they're sorry, better just left alone. But when it comes to Christmas, you know, it's such a time that we get to celebrate together. Like there's in a world so full of division, uh, Christmas is the opposite of that. It brings people together, regardless of color and culture, creed, even religion. It's a great time of year. It's all based around the birth of Jesus, obviously,
Yeah.
but the birth of love, depending on how you want to look at things. You know what I mean? So I feel that I feel that I don't know if there's a Christmas song that's sung by anybody that shouldn't be re-sung.
Hmm.
Just for the message, just for the message behind it. You know
For me, though, I do believe there's one song that should not be resung.
what is it?
And George Michael, Last Christmas.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, I've heard that. I think the reason for that is I've heard it murdered a few times.
Well, that's the thing. Look, I remember when the song first came out and it wasn't that popular at all and nobody
Yeah,
playing it. In fact,
yeah,
I still have the 12-inch of that from the 80s. And
yeah,
then somewhere around the 2000s, it just started to explode. And I started hearing other people sing it. And I'm sorry, I
yeah,
have never heard anybody come close to George Michael's version. So for me, I always say, you know what? That's the one song.
yeah.
Leave it alone.
Well,
Leave it for George.
that's how I feel about some things, and then I realize, I'll be sitting around and sometimes I forget how old I am, really. You know what I mean? And I'll be sitting with my kids or their pals or something, and I'll make a reference like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, what song's that?" And they don't even know the song. So so back in the day when we were buying 12, singles, we were hearing something for the first time and it affected our lives. I think the thing that I forget about sometimes is that there's a whole generation out there that's still happening.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift, I think, sang that song. Yeah, I think there's been a few artists that have sang Last Christmas. But that may be the first time that somebody else hears that song. And then you get to be the OG and you get to say, "Hey, you think that's good? You got to listen to this version."
Exactly. But two, what would have been what's your favorite Christmas song to sing?
Oh man, I think for me it's "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," man. I just think it's such a wonderful lyric, and the melody's stunning, the intimacy, the message. Um, I mean that's all you want. That's all you want, right? I mean, that's the kind of message you want to put out into the world. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Like, what I mean? If even if you're having a bad one yourself, been able to wish the best for people, I think that's just a human condition, man. So that's like one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite one to sing. And then growing up, this is going to test your lineage.
Okay.
Um, Growing up for me, there was two big songs. Uh, there was Shaky Stevens. There was a song called "Snow is Falling
Oh man.
All Around." Children playing, having fun. This is Merry Christmas, everyone. Da 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 da. And it was like a British guy that was trying to be Elvis, basically. And
Mm.
when I was growing up, he was amazing. That's whenever I hear that song, I'm instantly transported back to Scotland in my granny's mirror, combing my hair, trying to be Shaky Stevens. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, look, I want to
Mhm.
go back to memories too before we wrap this up, because one of the
Yeah.
things I love to ask about to artists is what would you say was your either favorite holiday memory or as a child, your favorite Christmas gift?
Man, some of my greatest memories at Christmas happened around my granny's house. Uh, my granny had a wee council house just outside of Glasgow, and during the year there wasn't much going on during the year, but at Christmas for whatever reason, everybody kind of showed up. And as a young fella, just being able to be surrounded by all these different characters and watching people coming and watching people go on, and it was always jovial. I'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
But there was lots of, it was always jovial, and so that's probably my favorite. My favorite memories as a whole was just that time, being a child. Full of innocence, and the wonder of magic.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite memories. And then as far as my favorite gift, um, I had a few. I had a few great ones. My dad worked away a lot,
Mhm.
but I remember waking up and I heard this sound coming from downstairs, and it was my father, and he was in the guest room with a two-stroke Yamaha motorcycle, and it was like a wee dirt bike,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
which was, I mean, this was next level. But there he was. He was in the house revving up this dirt bike in the guest room, and my mother's gone crazy because of the. She's like, "You're going to kill everybody," you know. But I remember my dad. I remember him being so excited and just so. I think so proud that he was able to provide something like that. I think that was one of my favorite memories at Christmas.
I absolutely love that. Look, my friend, I know we're gonna have to wrap this up, but anything you want to say to the fans to just remind them why this Christmas event is going to be so special? And two, any wise words as we leave 2024 and going into 2025?
Well, I think the message to people is, this is a great time for us to all kind of get together, and come out and celebrate, and listen to a great night of music. They say
Mhm.
gifts are given to be given. I've surrounded myself with incredibly gifted people, and each and every one of them are incredible musicians. And having a chance to come and share that gift with people, Niagara Falls, Belleville, and Ontario, and then across the country, wherever we were able to play. I would encourage everybody to come out if they can get a ticket. Come out and we get to spend a night together. Good, wholesome family fun. So that I'm excited to see everybody. And as far as a message goes, I guess a lot of my messages come through my music. Really, a lot of what I want to say comes through my music. I wasn't put on here to be a politician or a preacher, but I would say that it's time. It feels just about the right time for us to look at each other and celebrate our differences, but really just try to find our commonalities. And come celebrate that together and stand together and sing together, dance together, and maybe even cry together. But the key word is together. So I think that's the greatest thing about Canada is to celebrate difference. A country made up of so many different people from different places. Um, so I think if I can be a good reason for people to show up and celebrate each other, then I've done my job.
Brother, always big love and respect over the years. And thank you so much for always allowing me to chronicle your career. It has been amazing to see, witness, and experience. And I'm looking forward to even more in the future. You have always been one of the best And like I said, it's been an effect on me because every time I know I get a chance to interview you, I know there's going to be a smile on my face before it starts and after it's done. Thank you
Well,
so much.
thank you, Rudy. God bless you. Merry Christmas.